Okay, so I just want to begin by saying my name is Daniel Williams from Cool Tech TV. Basically, we want to go ahead and talk about applications that are used for sales and service industry and other areas, especially for startups. And so we're welcoming everybody who is here with us today. With me right now, I have Simon Laporta, and
Hello.
yes, he's from the UK, so I'm going to allow him to introduce himself a little bit. He seems to have a pretty good, interesting background as a software developer, so I'm going to let him talk about that, and then we're going to get right into our discussions.
Okay, I graduated last year, and my internship was building a mobile app. And I think for startup, it's a good way to start, like have their own app to because nowadays people are finding are finding information from the Google Play Store instead of Google.
Right.
So it's a good way to start. I have their own app to sell their cell phone over the internet.
Okay, wonderful. And yeah, I just want to also go ahead and just welcome the voice of Blab who just joined in. So thank you for joining in. Feel free to join in and share with us some of your views on the topic as well. We have an open seat. Yes, Simon, let's continue as we go along. So my take of this is that we do have businesses, we do have people who are looking to start up their business, and for want of a better person word, they may not have a lot of money to start up, and so they may have a small budget, but they want to have certain key things in place, like accounting software, customer relationship or customer management software that they can use to manage the people or the customers that they're having and maintain relationships. They would probably want to go ahead and look at things as how they manage their purchasings and sales, or even do things like front desk support without actually physically having to pay maybe 2 or 3 persons, which they may not be able to afford at a particular time, just beginning to start up. In your mind, though, what are some of the things that comes to mind, or what do you recommend for someone who is probably just starting up or who is operating on a small budget?
Yeah, I work for a web agency company, and we were managing the customer with the Podio platform. I write in the chat box.
Okay.
And that web platform come also with a mobile app. It's very Podio.com. It's a good way to managing customer, and like we divide the team. We divide the team in the developing, graphical team, and then customer relation team. And we can see all the stuff in this platform and managing the customer. Like you have an entire database, so, and also managing the fax, what's the name, like the payment of the customer.
Okay, so you can actually look at it. I'm just taking a quick look at the Podio.com website, and it seems to be a pretty good application that is very well integrated and adaptable. And so this is people, those of you listening and who would also go ahead to probably listen the broadcast after, I would suggest that you take a look at Podio.com, www.podio.com, and it's a pretty good app. Now, tell me a little bit more about this app. Does it is it something that one has to pay for? Is it free for use?
No, there is a free version, but we use a web agency like a pro web version, but is not very expensive. I don't know because was managing by the owner, the company, but it's not too expensive.
Okay.
And if you have a big team, it's very useful because everybody knows what's going on the team. And for time management system also.
Okay. Wonderful. 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 So that's some pretty good stuff there. I see that we've lost. We had Kizan Technologies. We seem to have lost him a little bit. But we hope that he will come back in and share with us. And Voice of Blab, feel free to also join in and give your input as to some of the things you think we can go ahead and discuss and share about. So feel free to do that any time. Now, with Podio, Podio.com, and I'm going to take a look at it. It also seems to me that it's like a project management software.
Yes, too.
Okay, and so it suggests to me then that basically we can use it for managing the different types of projects that someone may have at a particular time, and it's also allows for customer management as well, based on what I'm seeing from off the site.
Yeah, you also have like a report function.
Okay.
Yeah, you can view exactly the hours spent on some projects. It's very useful also for payment, like.
Okay, well, and let's take a look at a couple other things here as we move along. What are your takes on software such as QuickBooks for someone who's looking to start up? Do you think QuickBooks is adequate? Do you think it's something that we need to augment with another software, maybe like Frontdesk, which pretty much does a little bit of handling customer complaints and questions or queries that a customer may have at a particular time? Are you familiar with that?
We use like our website to deal with customer, and was like built on Microsoft C++, C Sharp, and we deal with the tickets and all the stuff. So I didn't have like experience on that because we are dealing with our website, the company website.
Okay. And in terms of like an application software from Microsoft, that handles those kinds of general functionalities for businesses. What do you know about Microsoft software as it relates to that? Like, for example, I have one here that is called the Microsoft Dynamics CRM. Are you familiar with that in any way? Anything that you can share with that based on your experience with Microsoft technologies?
I had only experience on Microsoft website, so I built like e-commerce website.
Okay.
But I'm not familiar with this kind of program because it was managed by other people in the company.
Okay. Now, you mentioned also about the e-commerce websites, and can you share with us, in your opinion, how an e-commerce based website or e-commerce based application can help a customer to really manage his or her business?
Yeah, if you are a few products, you are selling few products, the quickest way to build an e-commerce would be WordPress. Like, it's very easy to manage in the backend system.
Okay.
And We usually do for small business like e-commerce in WordPress. And then for our big customers, we did in NopCommerce. It's a Microsoft like CMS, like WordPress.
Okay. So again, you mentioned WordPress as an application or software that can be used for businesses who are just starting up with a little bit of e-commerce sites, basically. And can you share with us in the link in the chat box the other kind of software that your application you think is usable for customers who are on a larger scale, so that we can share that as well with others as they come along.
Are you interested on what? Sorry.
Yes, and we can share the information that you've just mentioned in the chat box.
Okay.
We can type it in there, so at least we can also take a look at other people who will be more than happy to join in and share with us at this time. Okay, so we have also with us Mandy. And Mandy, how are you doing today? Feel free to go ahead and join us and give us your 2 cents. We're trying to talk about applications for people who are in the sales or service industry. And you can feel free to jump in on the seat and you can tell us a little bit more of the kinds of applications or the things that you're probably looking at that may help you in your business being in the service industry. And we can have a little chat about this. So you can feel free to join in, Mandy. Thank you for being here with us today. And the seat is open, so you can go ahead and share with us as well your thoughts. Okay, so coming back to you, Simon, we have WordPress and WooCommerce. I'm pretty much familiar with both, and especially that of WordPress, which has become very, let's say, very popular amongst young software developers or web designers. And so it has a lot of the different, what we call, what's the term, widgets that we can actually add into the websites that can give different functionalities for accepting payments. So we have widgets for PayPal, we have those for accepting transfers from credit cards and accepting payments. We do have some applications or widgets that allow for customers to create like an email database where they can go ahead and send out emails stating to their valued customers, well, you know, this is the new service we have, or this is the campaign we have. Maybe we have like a 10% off or 25% off on a product or service as we move along. And so those little tools, I think, allows for customers to be very successful and to operate, you know, at a very low cost and still achieve maximum results.
Is that a WordPress plugins?
Yes, these are WordPress plugins that you can actually go ahead and put in. I know that if you're going to WordPress, WordPress.org, and you can actually search for plugins for accepting payments from PayPal, and they do give you a whole bunch of them, as well as you have like contact forms and forms for or plugins that allow you to get customer information in terms of like basic information like name, email address, and you know, so that you can go ahead and send back information back and forth to customers as well.
Yeah, and also have a big community behind. Like if you are searching, you have some problem, you in Google, you're gonna find the solution.
Yes, you will find. Yes, you will find, because there is a lot of good support that comes from Google and from WordPress itself. and you can get quite a bit of videos on YouTube as to how you can use and set up a website and utilize the plugins that you find on WordPress. So you get quite a bit of information coming there. There is a software that comes to mind that I believe is pretty good for sales, and it's Skype. Skype is generally a communication software. I mean, we use it a lot for chatting with friends and family, especially at long distance. And it's a very good software platform for working with customers, where you can actually call your customers, and you really, even with the free version, you can call from Skype to Skype. That is free. And with the paid version of that, like if you put in some minutes in there, you can also talk to landlines or mobile phones for a very small cost. And you can actually conference. You can do a little bit of conferencing with Skype with at least maybe 2, 3 or so persons, or even more on a conference on Skype, and share screens. So, for example, you might be able to discuss a project or be able to present something using the screen share, whereby you can go ahead and showcase what it is on your screen that you have, and the other person's viewing can actually go ahead and see it. So that is actually a pretty good way to even start communications as well, and be able to keep your costs down. And so if, for example, you're operating in let's say a tire sales, or let's say you're in a small restaurant or small inn or motel, you can actually use that application as well, that allows you to correspond with people. And it's pretty mobile, so you have that on your tablets, on your smartphones and other devices as well, outside of just your laptop or your computer. So it's a pretty mobile application as well.
Yeah, I'm using also Google Hangout for business call. Have the same function, and it's working well, because also with a 10 group of people you can still present, and you have also the function like TeamViewer function, and you can actually take the control of the other computer.
Right. Mm-hmm. TeamViewer is, well, Google Hangouts is a pretty good application as well, where you get your community of people coming out and being able to share a bit in the ideas. It's like an open forum, which is pretty good. And TeamViewer is another software, and I'm glad you mentioned it, because it's one that I have on my list as well, as a software that businesses can use. For example, with TeamViewer, you can actually remotely share files. You can go ahead and also, if your business is, let's say, for example, tech support, and someone has a problem on the computer, we can actually use TeamViewer as a means of accessing that person's computer, of course, with the relevant permissions. And you can actually take over the screen of the computer and the functions of the computer remotely, and go ahead and repair or try to assist and provide the technical support that is needed. And TeamViewer is also pretty good for sharing of files and information, and again for conference calling. So you can actually have multiple larger groups of people on a TeamViewer platform, and have very good, worthwhile, and healthy conversations for businesses, which I believe is pretty good as well. So I'm glad that you mentioned that, because I did have it as one of my software top softwares that I will, I will probably think of suggesting people to get involved with. Yes. Okay. Now, I do think I have another one listed here on my list. Another one I think I have here is called Evernote. I'm not sure if you're familiar with that one, but Evernote is another application that allows you to make notes, or you can actually write up like full-blown projects and ideas on using Evernote, and you can share these information with people in a group, or you can actually share it using social media applications like Twitter and Facebook, Tumblr, and a couple other applications that are out there that are you can go ahead and share this information with. And Evernote also has like a chat function that allows you to go ahead and correspond, and chat with other people and share information in real time, and you can edit your information. And I think it's a very good and a handy application for people to have in their arsenal as a business, especially in the startup phase, or even going beyond the startup phase. Evernote is a really good program that one can go ahead and use. Again, I just want to take the time to welcome Gary for joining in. And we're taking the time today to discuss a little bit in terms of applications that we can use for startups or for businesses in sales and service industry. So we do invite you to feel free to join in and share with us a bit of what you think is an important application that one can use, especially when it comes to businesses or startups. Okay. So Simon, anything else that comes to mind? Anything else you think we can work with as it comes to that as well?
No, I used to use Evernote too, but only to save like a piece of codes, because I'm developer, and then, but I didn't know so many features they add.
Yes, they've added some new features, and they've made Evernote. They did some updates recently, so it's a lot more user friendly now, and you have quite a bit more functionalities inputted into it for use and applicable to a lot of people in the businesses as well. Okay, so Gary is also saying that he uses, it says here, the place to sell all things I have built is sportsjunk.com, and he uses WooCommerce on most of his e-stores. Okay, so thank you for sharing with us, Gary, and we do appreciate that as well. And we want to take the time now also to welcome Hector Rodriguez. And we hope that you will also go ahead and share with us a little bit as to your feel for applications as well. Okay. Right. So, Simon, what are the things? Now, let's just assume that I do not have an application. I'm on the startup phase, and I may not have an application, but I am a developer. As a software developer, what kinds of functionalities would you think will be important for people looking to get into business? And especially let's looking at the small business, because a lot of people start off with small businesses. in their home. So people have like their home off, like a home office, or let's say maybe they use part of the garage, which is properly set up and organized, or they just have a small office space and somewhere in a boutique, in a mall or something that they want to get started up. What kind of things we want to get people thinking about in terms of applications or functionalities that they would want to look at in starting the business?
I think first of all they should have like a website, like the new website that are responsive, so that can help this company to start and not being notified from the internet.
Okay.
And I advise like to start with WordPress because it has a lot of like responsive themes, like responsive designs.
Right.
And this can help you like from mobile viewers to have a good website for your business. It's not necessary like only like a mobile app. Just to have the website responsive, then can be viewed by the mobile viewers.
Okay. Now, what's the advantage of having a website using WordPress that is responsive? What's the advantage of a responsive website?
Now, also the Google ranking is affected by the responsive design. If your website is not responsive, then Google lower your rank in the SEO in the search ranking.
Okay. Now, in this, I believe we want to have some applications that are, well, how important is Google Analytics, or how important is analytics software in for startup or for anybody who's in business? We know that, for example, you have Google Analytics, which provides quite a lot of intuitive information that helps people in analyze or to see what the business is about, how well it's doing. How important do you think that is?
Yeah, it's quite important because analytics let you to know where user comes from. So now user come from many, from social, from Google research, and then you can like track your success in some field. Like if you are publishing in social, then you can track it, and also you can track how user use your website, like which page are visiting, which page have has a bounce rate, so the user came in the page and then leave very soon. That's called bounce rate.
Okay, and then that's pretty cool, pretty awesome there. I also have something that I probably want another software I think that I want to talk about that may be pretty good. Just if I get that list. There is a software called PayPal, and then we want to talk a little bit about Dropbox. So PayPal is an application that really is beneficial to any kind of business, in that it allows people to go ahead and be able to make payments online for various products or services that are being offered, and to do that transaction which pretty seamless, and at the same time it is also a very secure platform for making payments. And so having PayPal both embedded in a software sense, like in a website case, or even as a standalone application using the web platform, it's a pretty good arsenal to have in terms of making payments or purchases, and at the same time of accepting credit card payments and other payments from other vendors or people looking to purchase.
Yeah, you can use like analytics to analyze if your PayPal it's a good choice, because you can go in the page of the transaction and then see your bounce rate. So how many people leave that page without paying. So you can like evaluate from Google Analytics how PayPal is working. Because now there are also many other gateway
Right.
that accept like credit card payments, and
Yes.
they are quite easy to setting.
Yes, and so I'm getting here from you the key things to have is a basic website starting with WordPress, whether it's WordPress.com or WordPress.org, to start up with a basic website from WordPress that is pretty much responsive, and at the same time be able to use tools or like Google Analytics, and also the PayPal plugins and other credit card plugins that are available for for making sure that your business on the sales front or on the service front also works quite well. And just to recap a little bit, you did mention also about this website called Podio.com, which is a customer service management type software for project management as well. And those applications, I believe, come very much in handy for getting any business up and going. There is this software called Dropbox, this application called Dropbox. And what's your take on it?
Sorry?
Dropbox, are you familiar with Dropbox? Yes.
Yeah, I use instead of Dropbox, I use Google Drive.
Google Drive.
That's come with more space, but it's quite pretty the same. And you have the ability to share your uploads. You can just send the link if you are sharing your files.
Okay. And it's pretty good for storage. I think for Google Drive, there's a free version of that where you get, I think, was it about 5 or 10 gigabytes, I think, free.
Yeah.
And so customers can take or people can take quite a lot of use of that as basic storage for their files, and be able to share and access these files out. I do know that Google has a platform that allows you to print using the cloud. So you have something which is called Google Cloud Print, which basically allows you to set up your set up your printer, allows you to be able to print using that platform, the Google Cloud platform, and you can do that by using a valid email address to make that happen. So, for example, I might use my name as daniel@gmail.com. Let's just say that's my email. And I can set it up, and then I can be able to print to a particular printer that is assigned to accept emails using, or not just emails, but any printed document using the Google Cloud Print platform. And so it's pretty good, and it's handy for printing stuff remotely, and for sharing of information as well.
See, we use also Google Drive for like internal communication. If we have like a report to send to a special team, we can also use Google Drive to fill forms together. Like the team parts can fill the forms on Google Drive that it's shared between over the company, and then you can fill together the parts like a report.
Yes, and that is actually really good, because you have Google Drive, which is pretty much it's a free application in and of itself that a lot of people can use for sharing information both internally and remotely with lots of other people for any business startup. I just want to take the time here also to give a shout out to Tashan. I hope I get your name correctly. Thank you for stopping by and sharing some love. You can feel free to join in as well anytime, and share with us what you think are some of the applications that people can use in business. So although we see sales and service industry, but we want to broaden the scope out there as well.
Hey, you guys.
So we do have Tashawn joining us. How are you doing today, Tashawn?
I'm cool. I'm awesome. I just got back in from scoping and working out. So my scopers were working out with me. How are you doing?
I'm doing fine as well.
We got the real Robert Stern in the house. Robert Stern is in the house. So I love this. Denia, don't go anywhere. I love this. The title, Let's Talk About Apps for Startups in the Sales or Service Industry. That's so interesting, because I'm doing a blab tonight talking about the 21 best business apps for highly productive professionals, right? It's so crazy. Because I was like, I didn't post it last night, but I love apps. Everyone know I love apps. So do me a favor, what apps have you talked about so far? Have you talked about any particular apps or discussed it? And hi, Simone Laporta.
Hi, how are you doing?
I'm fantastic. Where are you from?
I'm from Italy.
Italy. Okay. Is it Simone or Simone? How do you pronounce it? I want to make sure.
Simon.
Okay. I want to make sure I got it right. I don't want to mess it up. Okay. What apps have you talked about so far? Or have you talked about any apps?
We've talked about Google Drive. We've talked a bit about Dropbox. We've talked about Skype. And we've talked about, I believe, let me just recap back on my notes, Evernote, which is a very good and popular app as well. And so far, that's what we've talked about a little bit, and we've discussed WordPress as an app or software we can use for businesses as well to be highly productive with their responsive themes. So that's basically, in short, some of the things we've talked about, and there are quite a bit more. And Tashawn, I'll be more than happy to discuss a couple of the apps with you later on your blab as it relates to that, because I do have some applications for project management as well that we can that I can share that will help. So.
Cool. Well, you know what? I mean, basically, almost you just stole the thunder. I would say my favorite, everyone knows that I cannot live without Evernote. Okay. I love my Evernote. I love my Evernote. I love my Evernote. It allows me to collect my ideas. Just looking at my Evernote. I'm looking at, because I have I run all my business from this tablet, so it never fails me wherever I go. I run my whole business from my tablet. So Evernote is definitely my favorite. But if it's funny because I don't know how all the apps that I have. I am an Android user. Okay, so let me go ahead and preface this. I am an Android user. I am pro Google everything. Yeah, because it makes my life effective and efficient. So I don't have anything against Apple products. I don't have anything against the iOS store. I am just a avid Android Google user. So let me give you three apps that I tell you I cannot live without that help me in business. If you're a startup in sales, there's two sides. There's one for curating content, and then there's others that keep track of your analytics. You need both. So number one, I use Buffer, and if an alternative to Buffer is Hootsuite, I have both. I started off with Hootsuite. Hootsuite will let you track your analytics a lot better, and I use Buffer, but I use Buffer more than I use Hootsuite. But those are the two automation scheduling apps where you can curate content, schedule it out ahead of time, because most people in sales or services, you really need to invest time engaging with people organically and live. So if you got great content to curate, then these two apps will allow you to schedule out different things. I use If This Then That, www.ifttt.com. If This Then That it's a scheduling app that curates information and recipes. It connects to your different apps, and it triggers certain things, such as every time someone follows me on Twitter, it will respond back to that person by posting their name or their Twitter handle back on my page. It tells them thank them for following me, and that they can typically catch me on LinkedIn. Because of that, it's create how many people follow me on my LinkedIn profile. But I have multiple apps that multiple recipes on that app. But I curate content through Buffer. I curate content through Feedly. I curate content, not necessarily an app, but Google. If you use Google Chrome, I use Google Chrome for everything, because it just it connects all the Google apps a lot quicker. And if you're in a services industry or sales, Google Voice. I do not give out my real phone number to anybody because you have people out here in the business. I want people to reach me. What Google Voice will allow it to do, it'll connect to my cell phone. I can forward it to my house phone. Like I'm actually talking to someone right now through my Google Voice on my house phone. It can leave voicemails. It shows where I miss calls. I can record the conversation if I need to be able to do some type of training and then download it as an MP3. If someone leaves me a voicemail message, it'll send me a text or email. So it's really a great system to use, Google Voice. If you're in sales or services and you don't want to miss a call and you want to get notified immediately that someone's calling you, you kind of want to screen out your calls, I recommend Google Voice for that. And you got to have fun. So I like Spotify. I use Spotify. I got to listen to music all day y'all, that's why you guys always see my jazz. I have Spotify playing all day. I love my Spotify. Mm-hmm. I play for the full version. So I love to have my music going, right? It sets the mood. It sets the tone. So those are some of my favorite apps. But yeah, Google Drive, Google Voice, Google Chrome, Evernote, If This Then That, and Feedly, and you realize that only 2 of those are not a Google product. So
Sure.
it makes my life very efficient.
You've just stole some of my applications that I really love. And but you're right. Spotify is also a really cool app. It keeps you sane, I think, throughout throughout your entire work process as you go along with all the cool music and all of that, and it helps to focus a bit. I also do have another app that I use for managing, like an help desk manager. I use Freshdesk. Which is pretty good. There is a trial version. I believe it's up to, I think, 30 days free trial. And what that basically does, it manages your ticketing system. So let's say someone have a problem and they want to contact you and share with you some information as to the problems that they're having. What they do is they create a ticket, and you can actually follow up with that customer and let them know what it is you're doing or how they can go ahead and solve that problem using the ticketing system. So it is a pretty good and solid application. And hopefully, I think within the next week or so, I will do a live demonstration of that application and how it can be used for businesses. Because once it is properly harnessed, I believe it is something that people can go ahead and use for leveraging their business in a way that makes them very efficient as well. I just want to take the time to shout out a few people that have joined us. I see my good friend Kimron Korian. I just want to say thank you there, Kimron, for joining in. And you can feel free to jump into the open seat at any time as well. And who else do I have?
I'm gonna have to run because I just worked out and I have another call I have to take. I just saw this and I saw it was you. I had to jump on. I have to support all my people and share out on Twitter. I love this. You talked about of course, Spotify, and what do we talk about?
We talked about also Freshdesk. Sorry.
Let me give you 2 more apps, right? Before I jet. Mm-hmm. Blab and Periscope, okay? Blab and Periscope. You can't miss that. Blab and Periscope. If you're not on Blab and Periscope and you're in some type of sales or startup, you are missing the boat. Why? Because Periscope and Blab are startups. And you're using their platform, right? So I'm going to give a shout out to Periscope and Blab on this. And I got to run. I will see you guys later.
I'm going to give what
did you say, Cameron Cardone? Or you were also in the Blab last night. Powerful message. Which Blab last night? I'm sorry. The one with Matt? Hold on. I'm sorry. Let me answer the question because I need to make sure. I had 2 Blabs. I had mine and then I had Matt's. With Matt. Oh, yeah, thank you. You guys, I was glad you guys got the message. Love you guys. But I'll see you guys a little bit later. Simon, lovely to meet you.
Thanks here. Thanks for joining in, Tashawn, and have yourself a great day. We're going to catch you on later.
You too. I'll talk to you later, hon.
Okay, right. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Great. So we had Tashawn just joining in there a bit and sharing with us some cool applications as well. Some of our top applications for business. So which is pretty good. I want to invite Kimron if he is available to just jump in a little bit as well. He's also a good friend of mine, and if he can join in, that would be pretty good just for a moment and share with us some of the applications he may have in mind. And I want to take the time also to welcome Mamun Razi. I hope I have the name correct. So please forgive me if I do not get it right, but feel free to join in as well. And, you can just jump in and share with us a little bit of some of the applications. And just to recap, we had Simone a while ago. Tashawn a while ago. And she talked about Evernote. And she mentioned Spotify, and along with Blab and Periscope as some of our applications, and Google Voice. Now, I also want to, Simon and I, sorry, we've talked about Evernote as well. We did mention Google Analytics. We mentioned WordPress. And we did mention earlier on a website that carries some information, which is kind of like a CRM type application for project management called Podio.com. So I'm just going to go back here again and just post it up for those of you who would have missed it. And you can feel free to check it out as well. So thanks, Simon, for sharing that as well with me so that I can share it with others. Yeah.
Yeah. She has spoken about like individual program, like to build like social campaign.
Right.
But Podio is also good for team. Like it's very good for team.
Yes, it's also very good.
Like if you're planning stuff in a big team, the website will help you a lot.
Yes, definitely. I just want to take the time also to welcome Phoenicia Hudson. I hope I've got your name correct. So thank you for joining in as well. And you can jump in on taking the open seat and share with us a little bit in terms of what it is you think are apps that are important for people who are starting a business or things that people should pay attention to. And you can go ahead and do that. Now, someone said that the seat is closed. All right. Thank you. I'll make sure that the seat is open. All right. Thanks, Kimron, for letting me know that I should open that. Thanks so much. Now, there is another application that I want to mention. I think we talked about TeamViewer as well, Simon.
Yeah.
TeamViewer, which is actually a really good application for people looking to get in and share information and share files. And also you can do conferencing with that. People tend to think that it's just for sharing files, but it is a very powerful tool and something that allows quite a lot of management in terms of projects. There is a software though that is or an app that is very good. I've had the pleasure of using it, and I'm even rethinking about using that application now in my own business for project management. It is called Basecamp. Now, Basecamp, it's a really cool tool where the team gets to get fully involved, fully engrossed in the actual planning of projects. So you can have a team, they can be remote, they can be anywhere in the world, and you can actually go ahead and assign tasks to different people at different stages at different times. So you can actually go ahead and do that. So you can, let's say you have 10 persons, 20 persons, I think 100 persons, it doesn't matter the size of the company. You can actually go ahead and create different work groups with different mini projects, with different responsibilities, and assign those tasks. And you can have that reporting, and it's really unified. It allows you basically to share a lot of information and information planning, project planning. It's an absolute beauty. It is free to try. So I can tell anybody you can go ahead and try it. I think it's free for 30 days, I believe. You can go on to their website. I believe, let me just see if I can type that in here. www.com, basecamp.com. And so you can go ahead there and take a look at it. It's very, 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 very good for use as well. Okay, someone says here that Basecamp rocks. Yes, and thanks for that. We have a question though. I'm going to take a chance to pronounce the name. Simon, probably you want to take a chance at that, because I see we have someone also here from Italy. So,
Yeah.
And that person is asking a question.
It's the name of a home, like casa.
Okay. So, yes, you can join in. So, Nazim, you can go ahead and join in.
Thanks for letting me in. I wonder if you guys, because the subject really interests me. Apps for startups and sales and service industry. Have you guys talked a little bit or looked into beacons, the beacon technologies that are starting to be used to call apps towards things, or is the subject a little bit more related to service and sales support stuff with apps for startups?
Well, we have not touched about the beacons, but what we've done is just generally getting people's feel for applications that can be used for startups or for people who are in sales or services. So so that's why you're talking about Basecamp. Okay, gotcha. Sorry. Yeah. Okay. But you can feel free to also share with us a bit of what you think. It's a pretty much open forum where we're sharing this information.
No, basically, we're looking and working on a project for a museum here in Italy regarding beacon technologies that permits us to, when there's like certain parts in the exhibition that the pieces are missing, you can do a reference to the piece and information about the piece that's on loan at another museum. So you come into the location and they have an app that they download that works on Bluetooth, calls in as they pass by certain things regarding this museum project, but it's also very applicable for stores, restaurants, and other things like that. That's why when I saw the article, I said, well, let me jump in here and see. So it's quite interesting because it's very relatively new, and so you're starting to see shops and some major retailers start looking into this technology to tie in applications with basic technology. It's Bluetooth, Wi-Fi communications with mobile.
Okay, so Nazim, that's the name.
That's
I hope I'm getting it correct. Yeah. Okay. Now, if you have any websites or anything there with some information, you can feel free to go ahead and post it up.
Sure. Let me post it right now.
And then also...
the technology we're using works around this.
Okay.
This company out of Poland, which is pretty relatively big.
Okay. Well, we're going to go ahead here and introduce ourselves a little bit. Also, I have here Sinister from Germany. We do have an open seat as well, so you can feel free to join in if you wish, and we'll be happy to have you as well. I just want to go ahead, for those of you who I have the Jeff Adams show join in. Thank you for joining in as well. And I have Robert Lagenbacher. I hope I'm pronouncing the names correct, so please forgive me if I mispronounce the names, but I'm sure I'm going to get it well over time. I'm going to introduce myself. So again, my name is Daniel Williams. I was born in Trinidad and Tobago, and I grew up in Grenada. And like a lot of people, I have a strong technical background. My first degree is in IT and telecommunications. And I've also went ahead and do a double master's in business management as well as international business. And so over the years, I've been able to marry these two fields, and I've had some experience as well with the health industry. I've worked extensively with organizations throughout the Caribbean, and now I am living in the Dominican Republic. Just new to the Dominican Republic, just a couple months. And so the idea behind Cool Tech is really to talk about technology for people who want to know about technology, people whose knowledge are very limited, people who would need help in using different types of technology that they've been exposed to. For example, we have smart TVs at home, smart refrigerators at home. We want to know how these things work.
Yeah, the Internet of Things that's coming soon.
The Internet of Things, and that is a big topic, and that I hope to discuss within the coming week as well. So it is a very big industry that is coming on, and we have some new regulations now that are going to manage all of that. So what I'm focused on is providing information and training, valuable information for people who want to know how to use these things and to share it. At the same time, I am also looking at CoolTech is also looking at providing information for people who want to code, people who want to learn about renewable technology and other aspects of technology. So whether it's automotive, whether it's computers, whatever it is, we want to talk about it. And that's the idea behind CoolTech as well. And we'll probably provide some services.
Okay, let me ask you a question, because I see the logo and it's in Spanish, right? Because you're in Santo Domingo, right?
Yes.
La tecnología del mañana en la vanguardia de hoy. Okay, because I was born in Venezuela.
Okay. All right. Well, if you're from Venezuela and I'm originally from Trinidad, well, we're close by.
We're very close.
Very, very close by.
I left Venezuela when I was very young. I moved to the States, and then I ended up marrying and moving to Italy. That's why the Casa Chiesi, because my wife and we blog about Italy. So
okay, so I'm going to allow Simon to introduce himself because he's from Italy. And then we're going to allow you to go ahead and introduce yourself as well and talk about what you do. So Simon, the floor is yours, and then we go over to Nazim.
Yeah, I'm a software developer. I graduated last year here in Italy, and then I'm currently working in Switzerland.
Okay, cool.
And we build many websites and apps too. And I was quite interested about beacons. Like I was interested too, like the ability to see your customer in your shop, what they doing, like.
Yeah, exactly. Well, that's you're touching right on the subject, because I here in Milan, I am partners with I have two partners, and we have Solea, which is a company that basically right now is working on developing websites, apps, and now we're looking at beacons. So if you're in Switzerland, you must be very close to me in Milan, because it's right across the border.
Yeah, I'm working in the United Nations.
Cool. Very cool. Cool.
But only for 6 months, and then I will back to Italy.
You'll be back to Italy. Very nice. Yeah. Very interesting. Yeah. Okay. Very cool. So then you might want to check me out, and I'll add you on. I won't add you as Casa Chiesi. I'll add you as Nazim Beltran, because maybe we can talk. Because if you're planning on coming back to Italy, are you coming back to Milan, or are you going to?
Yeah, my family is living in Alessandria. It's
Alessandria, Liguria. Yeah. I know where that is. I just came from Genova this afternoon. So. Interesting. Hey, what a coincidence.
Yeah. Right. So it's a beautiful place where we can continue to talk about.
I think it's a great idea. What you're doing is fantastic. I think it's a really cool idea. And, there's not only Blab, there's Periscope, there's all these other live streaming things that really let us communicate and present. This is what you're doing is very interesting, because I think the subject matter is a little bit different than social media managers and social media or being an expert on Blab. I think it's more specific to talking. In fact, when I saw the title, I jumped right in, because I said that this is something that I really would like to check out.
It is. Well, Nazim, why don't you share with us a little bit about yourself as well, and your background?
Yeah, sure. I was born in Venezuela, brought up in New York and Miami. I'm an architect, but with a background in animation, computer animated, CAD, and also CAD management. I worked in a big architectural studio in Miami for about 20 years. Moved to Italy, and because I married an Italian, I work as a consultant in Genova as a CIO, an architect for a firm that designs cruise ships, because the cruise ships are mostly built here in Italy and also designed. And in 1995, I opened parkmedia.it, which is basically a web agency. And there we've been doing big projects for most fashion houses and design, furniture design realities in Italy. And last year we opened Solea, which specializes in apps and looking at the Internet of Things, which is coming down the road very soon.
Well, thank you very much for sharing there, Nazim. And that's pretty much the way that things are heading right now with the Internet of Things. Before we had it in terms of the Internet of People, which I want to put it that way, because we were all about connecting people together. Now it's a different paradigm where we're connecting devices together. And having devices now being able to share information. Just think about, for example, an umbrella. You might have a smart umbrella, for example, that may just be able to tell you by the color of the umbrella what weather you're going to expect today, for example. You know, if it's going to be sunny, if it's going to be cloudy, and all of that. So these are things that are emerging, and Cool Tech TV, basically what we want to do is to help people to bridge the gap in knowledge where it comes to technology on a whole. So we will be discussing that in more detail in a future blab. And I do hope that you can be on there too, Nazim and Simon and all of you who are there, so that we can really share and create that environment where we can all get back.
There's a lot of topics that you can talk about this subject, in the sense that with the new technologies and the Internet of Things and the connection with the whole issue of beacons and calling out and notifications to mobile devices, there's also the aspects of privacy issues, which are also, you know, something that you have to be kind of aware of, in the sense that, you know, there's a thin balance between how much people want to be notified from beacons from a store to have promos or events or things like that, and how much they want to be left alone. So that is quite interesting, I think, also to look at.
Okay, wonderful. Okay, we do have joining us, we have Adnan Javed. I hope I'm pronouncing it correct. So he's going to be joining us here as well. Let's just wait for him to get connected. And whilst we do, I want to welcome Lynette for joining us as well. So thank you for joining in, and we would welcome your comments and questions as we move along. Coming back to some of the applications that we were talking about that helps businesses to you know, in a startup point of view, there is an application called Expensify. It's pretty much a type of an accounting system that you can actually carry around with you. It's very mobile. Mm-hmm. I believe it is free to try, I think. Okay. But it allows you to basically go ahead and track your expenses on the go. So if you're someone that travels a lot, you can actually use that application. It captures your receipts, everything. It connects with your banking information, so you get like reports, financial reports as to all of your expenses. It lays in with things as your hotel accommodation, rentals for vehicles, tour guides, just about any little thing you think in terms of travel. You can actually use that, as well as in your business sense, from the office. You can use it for tracking your regular day-to-day expenses and stuff. So
okay, it's on the side they're asking if you can type the link for that information in the chat so that they can check it out.
Okay, well,
I'm a big fan of Basecamp. We've been using Basecamp to coordinate between all the programmers, and also there's more sophisticated systems, obviously, but Basecamp is really straightforward. And you can even sometimes get the client involved in Basecamp. I don't know if you guys are familiar with another thing that's quite interesting called, if you do UX design, maybe Simone might know about Balsamiq mockups. And that is also a very interesting program to check out. Expensify, cool. Basecamp, yeah. And then I'm a huge fan of Evernote. I love Evernote.
Well, and you're probably the fifth person that has talked about Evernote with us so far. That's correct, Simon. We've talked about Evernote a lot, and it is a very good application. I use it on my smartphone, on my tablet, on my computer. I do have it. I make sure that I use it. We have Adnan. He's trying to get in for some reason. He's
trying to get in, but he might have a slow connection.
Probably.
Yeah, he can't get in.
Try to refresh your browser and see if you can get back in as well.
And then a couple of familiar faces are joined. Alfredo also joined in. Alfredo Tigolo. These people I know from Google Plus, obviously. Do you guys use Google Plus at all? That's a great question.
I do. Not as much as I should, but I do use it. Some people, until recently, I thought Google Plus was really dying out and not as popular as it should be in terms of getting businesses going. But I have started to use it because I realized there is still a large community out there for Google Plus. And it's very active, very, very active.
Yeah.
And it's a good way for also letting people know what it is that you're doing and for, getting people engaged with you in terms of your services or whatever it is that you're trying to do. So I actually really welcome that as well.
Yeah, I've been using it for I have to confess that the busier I get, obviously, when you're busy, Google Plus is not so much a social media, it's more a tool. But the other social media tools, the busier you are, it's like you fluctuate between how you use all these things to promote your business or to generate business. There's another really cool tool that I use, and it's also, I'm going to put it in the chat, and I don't know if people are familiar with it. And it's called Room.co. Imagine Skype without having to via browser, that you can basically call people in to a room and have coordination meeting with clients that do not have to deal with, the plugin for Google Plus, or here in Blab you don't have private, so all the conversations are open. This Room.co is very good if you are interested in talking to 3 people privately and sharing a screen. I highly recommend it. It's one of the last things I've been using lately. In some cases, when I don't have a person on Skype, I just open up a room with this. It's a free service. You just send it out the connection, and they come in and you can talk and have a real quick meeting. Very neat little. And it's a web app at the end of the day.
Yeah. Well, that's pretty good. That's pretty cool. Yeah. I just took a note of it myself because I think it's something that I would definitely want to use, because I also joined in on a program with a friend of mine who's listening right now, but he's on the road. A friend of mine called Kimron Korian, and he does a blab every Thursday night around 10 Eastern Standard Time that is geared to helping startups and small entrepreneurs.
Right.
And so I do participate on his program as well. And so, some of these applications, because we're now on his show talking a bit about how on startups and what people can do in terms of minimizing cost. And so, I have to give a little speech on some of that as well on Thursday night. So I had a list of some apps myself, and I'm learning quite a lot from you guys as well in terms of apps that can be used. And one of those that I'm really impressed with is the Room.co, because it's something.
Give it a try. It's really, really. I'm quite impressed with it. Because obviously the Blab and Meerkat and Periscope. We do a lot of Periscopes from Casa Chiesi from Italy locations. Mm-hmm. Those are more towards, showing and having people visit, or Blab is more to discuss, common subjects. But the great thing that, for example, Periscope, Meerkat, and Blab have is that they're all tied into the Twitter account, right? So there, you really get your Twitter followers that you end up with new Twitter followers that you meet that you don't meet through other, you can have Twitter chats and things of like that nature, but it's a little bit different. While Room.co is not connected to any social media, it's just a web-based chatting system.
Lovely. And
I'm gonna have to step out. It's super great meeting everybody. Simone.
Well, thanks for stopping by.
Ci sentiamo via. I'm gonna say it a little bit in Italian. Ci sentiamo via Twitter. Huh?
Okay.
Hey, super great meeting.
All right. Also, before you go, Nazim, would
Yes.
you mind sharing your a website and email that you may have?
Sure.
We can also collaborate on a few things. So if you can,
Sure. Let me give you a couple. I'll put a couple of. For the first one I'm putting on is my wife and me, and our Italian lifestyle. And it's just basically something that we've built for the last year with articles about Italy. Simone might give me some interesting feedback. And then I have soleadp.com and parkmedia.it, where you can see our projects for the web agency. Okay. It's not responsive, so it responds so. Okay. Solea is responsive because the kids are responsive. That's for the programmer and Simone.
Where the web agency is located?
Milano.
Yes.
Take care, guys.
Wonderful. All right, thanks for stopping by, and hope to see you again.
Yes, thank you.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so Simone, we've actually learned quite a lot with a couple of the other apps that we've heard from so far, which has been really, really good. And I hope our listeners listening in can just go over to the side of the right side of the screen, and you could see some of the websites and applications mentioned there. You can go ahead and follow through with it as well. For those of you who are listening, let's just go over to the left, and where it says Tell a Little Bird, let's go ahead and click on that and share some love and spread the word around, talking about apps that help with technology. So let's just go ahead and take a look at that. And we do have 2 open seats available as well. So anyone feeling free to joining, you can actually go ahead and do that. Mike, if you're interested, you can go ahead and join in. And Jeff, you can actually come in as well if you're pretty much interested in sharing a little bit as to some of the apps. Okay, we have someone else here. We have Tashi. I hope I have the name correct.
Yes, I'm Toshi Kanda from Japan.
Okay, well, how are you doing? Well, thank you for joining. And Toshi, Japan is, in my books, is the Mecca for technology.
You're welcome.
So I do appreciate you joining in with us today. And as our topic suggests, we are talking about apps that can be used for startups or anybody who are in sales and service industry.
Yeah.
So feel free to share with us a bit of what you think is important, and you can give us a little bit of your background and who you are, what you do, and you can just jump right in and just give what you got.
Yes, I am a Japanese IT journalist. So I have the website that knn.com.
You can probably type that in if you don't mind. You can type that in so we can, those of us on this blab can go ahead and follow you.
Okay.
So feel free to go ahead and you can type it in. It's not a problem.
Okay. Okay, the Kanda News Network.
Wonderful.
But I just setting my domain name now.
All right.
Yeah.
Now, in terms of your journalistic scouting, what apps do you find seem to be very applicable or very good for people who are in sales or anybody who is in the service industry? Like, let's say maybe you have a hotel or a restaurant, or let's say someone who has a store that is probably selling computer parts or computers. What type of applications you think is popular, even in Japan or outside, that you think it's something that that is trending and people can go ahead and use?
I mentioned it's a Yelp. Yelp, it's kind of the American Yelp service is the same thing as Tabelog. Tabelog meaning eating blog. Eating blog. Tabelog is most applications popular at Japan.
Okay. Or you want to go ahead and post that? You can share the information as you go along, because it's all about a learning community, and the world is a global stage where we can share. I am from the Caribbean, and Simone is from Italy.
You have it from the Caribbean?
Yes, I am from the Caribbean.
I never been there.
Okay. Yes, being from the Caribbean, and mind you, though, I am a huge fan of Japanese martial arts. Just so that you know. Yes. Yes. So I do happen to. Yes, I do happen to love that aspect.
Do you know Jigoro Kano?
Pardon me?
Yes. Jigoro Kano, the judo inventor, like. Judo.
Judo. Yeah, I know that. Judo. How do you say what? What do you think?
Jigoro Kano.
Jeet Kune Do.
Okay.
Bruce Lee.
Well, I'm going to jump off because they closed my lab here.
Well, thank you so much, Simone, for sharing and for being with us as well. So I hope to hook up with you in the future. And let me just post my email and in there so that you can so that at least you can send me an email as we go along, or just hook me up. I do a bit of programming as well, especially in Python. So you can feel free to give me a look up there as well. Okay.
Thank you.
All right. So thanks for joining in. Have yourself a great day.
Let me see, Simon. Where do you come from, Simon?
I'm from Italy.
Italy.
From
Buonasera.
Buonasera.
Okay. All right. So, Toshi, that leaves two of us in here for the moment.
Yes.
So we've talked a lot about some very interesting applications for businesses, which includes Evernote.
Yes.
Yes, and we've talked about Google Drive.
Yeah.
We've talked about Google Plus as a means of sharing information.
Yeah.
We've had TeamViewer. We have someone mentioned Blab and Periscope, and again, I want to share that because it's Blab and Periscope is just a really great way of putting yourself out there and sharing information, and a way of promoting and connecting with people. And you know, we mentioned that the world is a global space.
Yes.
And so being able to have this global community to provide services out to really is a boost for people who are starting a business, especially in a sales and service industry. So, these are a couple of apps that we've talked about. We've mentioned Freshdesk. I'm just going to post that up in the.
What is Freshdesk?
I'm just going to post it up here as well. It's an application that is really good for. It's really good for managing customers and customer complaints and things of that sort. So I've just posted that link there, freshdesk.com, and it's a pretty good application there for using. And it's really good. So you can feel free to take a look at it. Michael is trying to join in, so
get started for free. Okay, I'll try that.
Yeah.
Okay.
I am just.
Okay, Michael. We hope that you can get to join in with us. So we would love to hear from you, your input as well, and I'm actually going to follow you here as well. So
yeah.
Okay. Someone mentioned Room.co. I'm not very familiar with it, but we had Nazim a while ago. He mentioned about it, and that is a pretty good application to work with, especially if you want to be, you just want to have a private chat, a private room for conversation with people. We can actually go ahead and use it. Okay, we seem to have lost Michael a little bit. We hope that he would be able to get back in and join us, hopefully. So anyone else feeling free to join in? Phoenicia, if you wish, you can also look to join in. We would love to hear from you as well. Okay, and we hope that Michael is going to try to join back in with us soon. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, he's trying to connect with us again. So let me. Okay.
I need.
Okay, so let's see. I think he's gonna get.
Can you hear me? 1 second.
All right. So I think we've been able to get Michael back on the road. Yes.
Oh, all right. Sorry, but you can hear me, can you?
Yes,
Hi,
we
Michael.
can hear you, Michael.
All right. Hi. How are you? How are you guys doing?
Yeah,
Hi,
we're
Michael,
doing fine.
Where
I am in
are
Ireland.
you?
I am in Ireland, Waterford City.
Huh? Which country?
Ireland.
Huh?
He's from Ireland.
Ireland.
I know Ireland. Ireland.
Huh?
Ireland, just beside England.
Oh yeah, Ireland.
Ireland.
Okay.
Yeah.
I like Irish whiskey too.
All
Yeah.
right.
So Michael, Toshi's from Japan.
Yeah, I was listening to you guys
I
talking.
see. But I'm wearing Italy soccer team.
You are wearing, a Japanese person wearing an Italian T-shirt. I was
Yeah,
wondering why it is.
yeah. I love the Serie A soccer football team.
A big fan of Italian soccer, are you?
Yeah, I love the Serie A.
Oh, you love the city?
Yeah, soccer.
Oh,
yeah.
Italian soccer.
Italian soccer. Canaditio.
I think they are good. Yeah, I think they are good.
Yeah. Ireland, it's a major sport. Rugby, football.
Rugby. Well, soccer is also popular, but rugby would be. But there is Irish games, Irish football, Gaelic.
Yeah.
There are very local games. There are.
Michael, are you driving there? You crazy?
Yeah, I am driving. I was just about to ask you only one question.
You go ahead. Go ahead, Michael.
Be careful.
To Kanda, is that your name? Is it?
Yes, my name is Toshi Kanda.
Toshi Kanda. Okay. The first name I can't say it. It is written in Japanese. I think it's only Kanda,
Toshi.
which is written. It shows Toshi in my phone.
Toshi is my first name.
Yeah, what I was to ask you was, we hear a lot about Japan and a lot of technology, and actually, and he was saying to you as well, Japan is a technology hub. And with all these things, we haven't seen one thing of this social media stuff, like, Twitter comes and Facebook came, YouTube, or maybe what else? Quite a lot of them, Blab or
Yeah.
What is the other one?
Yeah.
We heard a lot of them. They tend to come from the US, don't they? even though Japan and the likes of Japan and Germany are also very big, especially Japan is very big and leading in technology. Why is there not a lot of social technology, this kind of apps or something coming up? Do you think it is to do with the language or something, or Japanese are not interested in social media technology or something?
Yeah, but I think Japanese always has a problem. Japanese is most important. English service is not popular at Japan, so you translate the Japanese character. It's kanji. Kanji is a more important things. But Facebook is okay, Twitter is okay, but Brave is everything user interface English only. So I never mind. Almost Japanese people using kanji characters. It's
kanji is your own alphabet, is it? The Japanese alphabet.
Japanese characters. We want all the user interface not English. It's kanji, like a Chinese. So.
Yes. What I understand by as well, Michael, it's that with the Japanese alphabet, if I want to put it that way, it's a little bit more. They're very difficult for translating off into English or to other modern languages, and so probably that can be one of the main reasons why we may not find much of the social media type applications coming out of Japan because of that reason. I think even for like Mark Zuckerberg, when he went to China some time back, he had to learn the Chinese what's the language? Was it Mandarinese or something? Mandarin, yes. Which is very difficult as well, and it's very hard to translate even back into English. So I think maybe because of that, but I'm hoping that within the next year or two that we may find some kind of application, worldwide application, I believe, that will come from Japan and China and Korea and these places. But for the meantime, I think mainly because of that, how the language is set up, you may find most local applications. Is that right, Tashi? I believe you'll find more local applications for Japan and China in these areas rather than something that is worldwide based.
I think Japanese local based application maybe.
Are the Japanese using all these applications like Facebook and Twitter and all? They are using these applications. They are not using something which is a Japanese version of their own kind of Facebook looking thing or something. They are using actually the Facebook, the one which we know as Facebook, and the one which we know as Twitter and all.
So,
or do they have their own kind of social media outlet? Or just
Japanese social media just now number one is Facebook.
Is it?
Facebook is the number one at Japan. And number two, I think Twitter.
Oh, okay.
Twitter.
So the international one.
Yeah, international. Number three is you know the Line, Line. 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 It's kind of the
Can you type it in? Can you type it into the comment box? Okay, line.jp. Okay.
Oh no, not JP. Let me see. Very popular smartphone applications. Line. Line me. Come on, man.
Okay. All right. While you're in there, I just wanted to share a blab that I did a while recently, not a blab, but a blog that I posted recently on a few applications for startups or small businesses. So I've just shared the link there. Actually, you can go ahead and take a look at it as well. And it shows up a little discussion on some of the apps, some of which we mentioned, as some of the apps that we can use in business operations, regardless to where we are. So those are pretty cool. Now, Michael, any application that comes to mind in terms of business, someone who's looking to start up a business or who already operating a small business that you think that that someone can go ahead and use?
Well, on those terms, I won't be that much of a good. For one, I think I don't know. Actually, I'm not into business. I am a physicist actually.
Okay.
And I teach physics. Other than that, I don't do business, but I feel very curious, and I just wanted to know always what's going on around the technology and the marketing kind of places.
Well, you can feel free to continue to join in and follow with us, and we will share. You can take a look. I've posted a link with some information there, so you can go through that for starters. It will provide you with some stuff, and I'm going to also leave you there an email, and of course you would have my Gmail handle, my Twitter handle, so you can actually go ahead and use that as well to contact me if you have any questions or queries as well. So, what?
Cool.
You're welcome.
Very good.
So there is my email.
Okay.
So you have that information is there. You can always email me at that. I will respond to you almost instantly because I'm always on the net. So if you have questions or anything or a topic that you think you would like to see discussed, I would love to. And I just want to let you know as well, you're a physicist, so I would love, and physics have a huge, important role in technology. I just want you to know that. And so I would.
Yeah, I think we do know.
Right. So I would love to chat with you sometime soon on physics and talk about and talk about it a bit, because I believe physics and mathematics are two very important aspects of technology development. I would love to have a chat with you sometime. Probably we can schedule some time where we can talk a little bit. Let me just leave you with my Skype information, so that we can probably we can do a call and talk a little bit. And so that would be my Skype information there. You can send me an invitation, and I'll be more than happy to go ahead and we can work back from there and get some communication with that and do a blab at some point.
Okay, I will just interrupt the video only because now I am walking on the road.
Sure, not a problem. Okay, well, thanks, Michael, for stopping by. We appreciate it. Okay, wonderful. Thanks.
Cheers.
Michael, thanks.
Okay, so that was Michael there sharing in a little bit with us, his 2 cents and asking some of his questions in there as well. So we've been on this here for about almost 2 hours. Yeah, we've been on like around 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time.
Yeah, you should be last.
But it's good. I mean, it's all good, and I'm gonna have myself some tea in a while. So at least I can go ahead and prepare for quite a couple others. Anybody else? Felicia, you want to just jump in and share some love quickly before you go? Any questions, Mike? You want to try to join back in again, and let's see what else we can hook up within the next 15, 20 minutes before we close off or anything like that?
Anybody? Don't be shy.
Well, at least they're listening, so that's good enough, and we want to we're just share the love. So just go on the side there, and where it says "Tell a Little Bird," let's just click on that, and so even with people after the show has been ended, still people can go ahead and click on that link and be able to listen to the show that we had today as well. All right, and so I just wanted to also go back and just recap a little bit of some of the things, or as most of the software that we would have talked about earlier on today. I just want to go ahead and recap that as well in closing. So we had a web interface program called Podio, from podio.com. And that basically, it allows people to manage their website, not a website, but manage their clients, manage their customers, and do project management. So it's pretty good for project management. And so we had podio.com. We talked about Google Drive, which is a good application to use for businesses and startups, where we say that it shares. You can actually use it for internal sharing and remotely share information with people. Plus, it is mobile, so it means that you do not physically have to have the actual storage with you. It's there in the cloud. So all you need to do is to just log in using your Google account, and you will be able to access that information. We've mentioned a little bit about Dropbox. We talked about TeamViewer, which is also a very good tool for team management. And TeamViewer also allows for people who are in service industries like tech repair, computer repair technicians, systems analysts as well, to log into the computers of other people and remotely be able to fix a problem or take control of the computer and help to repair certain problems that they have. As well as with TeamViewer, you can go ahead and do screen sharing. And with the screen sharing, you can go ahead and be able to look at the other person's screen and share information and do a little conferencing as well. We've mentioned Skype. Skype came about as a very good source, and I do recommend it because Skype allows you to conference. It allows you to share files, photos, videos, and at the same time, it does allow you to share your screen as well. So that's obviously pretty good. We have Freshdesk. We did mention Evernote. Quite a couple. We had Room.co, which also allows us to have pretty much like a little private room for discussions. So these were a few of the applications that we would have talked about today that resonated. And obviously, Blab, we're on this platform. So Blab is a pretty good.
Very cool.
Yes, very, 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 very important
cool.
one. I cannot stress it enough. Because when you're on Blab, you have the opportunity to present your service, you have a chance to present your business, you get a chance to share be you. It's a unique opportunity. I mean, it's the real you. People are going to get to see the real McCoy. It's not about just doing something on Facebook or let's say LinkedIn or any other thing like that. It's really interactive, and you get to interact with people. So anybody looking to start business, anyone who are currently in business, I would suggest that you get in on Blab. Blab and is a really good application for people to get on. I see that Finisher is joining in, so hopefully she's gonna give us her 2 pence as well. So thank you, Finisher, for joining in. Let's hope that you get through. All right. So thank you, Finisher. How are you doing today?
I'm
Yeah,
good.
thanks.
How are you?
How are
doing
you?
wonderful.
How are you?
I'm doing pretty good.
Okay. Well, thanks for joining in. Just give us tell us briefly who you are, what you do, and just give us your thought process on maybe 1 or 2 apps that you think is really good for anyone who are looking to start up or who are in business.
Okay. So I do social media management. I do tech training also and consulting for small businesses and chefs and individuals, for entrepreneurs as well. So I kind of do a similar lab on Wednesday and Periscope as well with new apps for startups and things like that. So that's why I was interested in the title also. So I did a review on 2 apps so far, and I think one is called Business on Tap with 2 P's. And so it's like pretty much an information center for entrepreneurs and startups on, things from finance, on different tech gadgets. You can ask questions to other entrepreneurs. So that's one. And,
you mind just throwing that link in there?
Okay, I will. I'm on my cell phone, but I'll put it in there. And then the other one that I did a review on is called WeVideo, and it's pretty much a video production app, and you can do it natively on your phone, so you don't have to be on a desktop or a laptop.
Wonderful.
I just did a quick review on the free version, but they have a business version, they have an enterprise version, they have a personal version that gives you more, templates
features
and things like that.
Wonderful.
It's a really cool app to make nice videos to post on Facebook, Twitter, Google+, YouTube, all that good stuff. So I'll put those in the chat.
Wow. Well, thank you so much. I mean, these are really cool apps, and I'm learning a lot too, because throughout my discussion today, I've learned quite a couple of apps that I never paid much of attention to. And, that's what Blab is all about. Even as a good social media platform, it's a good app that we can use for communicating and sharing, and like-minded people can discuss things. So I'm really, really, really happy for that. And thanks for the information that you share with us today with those 2 apps. I did, if you notice in the chat, I did post a blog that I did on some applications that I reviewed. So probably you can take a look at it as well. It will probably provide you with some information. And I have quite a few other apps that you may probably want to take a look at. We started talking briefly about one called Expensify. So that's a pretty good app that you probably would want to do some reviews on as well. And let's see if I can give you a couple names of other apps that I have. Mind you, I still have my notebook, which I use. I still have that. I still write.
You still notes?
Yes, I still make notes.
You have an Evernote.
And I have Everbook. I have on my smartphone and on my tablet. But sometimes it's good to write things down because you remember things a lot better sometimes when you begin to write them down. So I use Evernote, but sometimes the good old-fashioned app. Good old-fashioned app you can use.
app.
So I use that. So I use that one I use it as well. So I can actually here's an app I think Phoenicia, that you can take a look at. There's one called Slack.
What do you mean?
Okay, I think it's here. It's I haven't done a full review on that yet. That's why I haven't really talked about it. But it's an app that you probably want to go ahead and look at. It's one for enterprise and business productivity.
Oh, really? Let me
Right?
check.
So that one you probably want to check out. For social media, I have one that is called Snapseed and WordSwag. So let me just put that out here as well too. And I think the other one is WordSwag. So these are other apps I think we can look at for social media. I have not reviewed them yet myself. They came up when I was looking to do some reviews, and I didn't quite get around to doing the complete list. I have something like about 30-something apps that I've been reviewing as well. We've lost Phoenicia a little bit. I hope she will get a chance to join back in with us. But these were some of the apps that I went through in terms of reviewing. And there's another one for communications, which happens to be very good too. It's one called GoToMeeting. It's good for web conferencing. And so you can actually just jump in there and, it's free to use. I think you can set up an account there, which is free to use. There may be some paid versions in there as well. But with GoToMeeting, you can actually host your meetings there in conference with people. You can use it for webinars, do online seminars and stuff like that.
I just made the Kenya.com/Slack.com.
Right. So with the Slack, yes. So that's a pretty good application to use. As I said, personally, I have not done all my reviews on that application yet, but it is a very good app for social media management and a couple other things that goes with it. So it's something that I probably will talk about in another blab. But as I mentioned, I didn't do much reviews. I just wanted to share that with these apps with others that others can probably take a look at it as well and feel free to go ahead and use it. Joining us here we have David Bozer. So thank you for joining in and being a part of us today. And
hello, David Bozer.
Okay, so if we have any questions, you can feel free to join in or post a question in the chat box by using the /Q and then type in your question, and we'll be more than happy to answer it as well. I just want to give a quick shout out to my friend Kimron. I know that you're listening, so if thank you for the support and the love. Any questions or you want to jump in if you have the time, no problem. It's a pleasure as always. Okay, so we're still waiting for Phoenicia to join back in. She's actually trying to get it in here with us. So let's just give her a moment to do that. And while she's doing that, probably, Tashi, anything else that comes to mind that you think we can talk about?
Okay, so in Japan, it's midnight 1:15.
Oh,
I always
yes.
go to the bed. So my girlfriend's
okay. Well, let me see if I can find an application for time management.
Yeah,
which is good for business.
Yeah. I want it very much.
So I did think I wrote down one for time management, and yeah, I did. And I think I can. Let me see if I can find it because it's a pretty good app for managing time. let me just take a quick look back on one of those. I think I will come up with, because I want to share at least one app. And this is going to be really good for anybody who's in business at all, or any entrepreneur. And so having an app for time management, I think it's pretty pretty good. So I'm gonna find one here that I can share that we can take a look at. So just very quickly, let's see if I can find one that I had.
I can see.
Hold on, I'm actually just revisiting here my some of my quick notes with that. But we can find, I'm sure, an app that does that provides with time management, because time management is a very important part in any business operation. We need to know how we can manage that. So let's take a quick look at one. So I think I should find one here. So I think the one that came about here is So there's one that says Mind 42.
Mind 42.
Yeah, Mind 42. And I'm not seeing the review on that as clearly as I can, but that is an application I believe can be used. Let me see if I can find one, because I found a couple. I just seem to have misplaced it in terms of discussing those. But hopefully in the next blab, well, for now, for you, Tashi, it is midnight, so it is like after 1. It's now like midday for me. So and so probably I'm gonna be doing one later on tonight, this afternoon, which is like around 3 p.m. I'll be doing another blab, but which is probably 3 o'clock in the morning for you, 3-4 o'clock in the morning or afternoon for you. So we can back either way. But you can follow me through, once you can follow me through, and I will do the same for you as well in terms of our apps. So just to wrap up a little bit, because we've been at this for quite a while. Tiffany, thank you for joining us. Would you like to just join in a little bit here and give us a little bit in terms of what you think are some of the softwares that are important for businesses, or the applications for businesses that are quite relevant? If you would like to share a little bit of that, you can, and tell us a little bit about what it is that you do. We will welcome that. So I can leave the seat open for you here for a couple of minutes if you want to jump in and share some love as to a little bit about what you're into. Phoenicia, I'm sorry that you couldn't get to jump back in. Hopefully we will also get, we'll be able to keep in contact. I posted my email. It's there in the chat box, and my Skype information. So you can actually go ahead and feel free to contact me. I'll be more than happy to share with you some of my knowledge and expertise in that area. Okay. So as I said, yes, Tashi. Yes. Any closing words before you go, or anything else you want to mention?
Thank you for the David Booth, the Booth man for social, Tiffany Larigi. Yeah. So bye for now.
All right. So take care. Sayonara.
Sayonara. Oh yeah.
Okay. Thank you, Tashi. Okay, so guys, that was Tashi from Japan. Spent quite a little bit of time with us. He is from Japan, and he does a bit of tech journalism. So he was able to give us a little bit of his communications. And so we've had quite a bit of people joining us today from around the globe. We had people from Japan, we had from Italy, we had from Venezuela, we had from the United States, we had from Ireland, and we had one or two people in from the Caribbean region. So we're just really blessed, having you being part of our show, and just talking and sharing so much the information that you have. Joining us, I see here I have Alicia Boza joining in, and so we have seats open. We probably would be here for the next 10 or so minutes. So anyone want to join in could do so at this time, and we can chat a little bit. And our focus today has really been about applications that are pretty good for businesses, especially startups. And we've discovered quite a lot of these applications. And one of those that stand out a lot is Evernote, TeamViewer. We had Skype a little bit. Then we would have mentioned Room.co. We had Slack. We had Google Drive. We had Dropbox. And these are some of the applications that came up today in terms of startup applications to use. Also, I think we did mention one called Expensify, and we did not discuss this as well, but there is another one that comes up that is called Square, which is a pretty good accounting type application. So I'm going to post that app, the software, the link to that app in here that we can, for viewers out there, you can go ahead and take a look at it. I believe it's a free app as well that you want to take a look at. So it's pretty cool. It's really good for you. So anybody out there, you can take a look at it. Go to the registration. It's really good for point of sales. It's a really good point of sale software, and it is downloadable. So you can actually download it on your mobile devices as well and use it on the go. I've had the pleasure of being able to use it as well, and it's very, very intuitive. So in one of my future blabs, I'm going to be talking about businesses that are requiring a lot of point of sale services. For example, things like hotels, businesses like hotels, restaurants, and other service type businesses. I'm going to be able to share with you, and I'm going to go through with you Square. So I'm going to share with you my screen as we go through Square and dissect it a little bit and be able to work with that together. So if we don't have any other comments or any things like that, I just want to thank everybody for coming in today. And I just want to thank you all for coming in and sharing your views. And those of you who listened, I'm pretty much sure that you would have learned something, or if not, it probably would have reinforced some of the things that you would have already known. So thank you all for joining in today. And remember, this is Cool Tech TV, where we click, watch, learn. And I also want to put here and share one with the other as we discuss anything as it relates to technology. I just want to take this time to let you know, for the upcoming month of October, we will focus a lot on renewable energy. So we'll be talking about things like solar energy, geothermal technology, and how we can actually implement these things at home. So just a heads up to those of you listening, we're going to go ahead and talking about some of those. Well, thank you very much again for choosing to be part of this blab today, and hope to see you next time. Thanks.